Welcome back to Coast Files, your podcast on ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantel.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan.
And that is our special guest, Megan's fire alarm.
Yes.
Which
we have the privilege.
It just went twice in a row. Don't you feel honored?
Built-in sound effects for this episode brought to you by Megan's apartment.
Whenever you hear an alarm, that means something really important is about to happen, but you won't know it until it's happening.
So take a drink anytime you hear the fire alarm.
Oh, God. By the way, this podcast is not responsible for any bills you may incur, any ambulance bills. That's all on you.
Yes.
Yep.
That's just one of the risks, you guys. That's one of the risks of
podcast
having
listening.
So much fun.
Yeah. We will do our best to edit out as many fire alarms as we can, but we do apologize if you're hearing them.
Maybe our listeners won't hear any and they'll be like, what were they talking about?
Or
we'll leave in that first one just in case.
Even better. Edit them all out and then do like a hot new compilation track at the end of just all fire alarms.
Just fire alarms. That's how we're actually going to end it. It's just fire alarms in the back.
Okay, well, now I'm really excited for this case because it's not even related.
Yeah. Okay.
So our mornings have obviously all been very eventful, mostly Megan's. But...
And there's something special happening today. I know it's going to be a little while in the future, but we're going to watch the eclipse today.
No, you're not going to. We're not going to directly watch it.
No.
Unless you have glasses.
I was planning to watch it through my phone, and then you guys said your
can't
phone will
do
blow
that.
up.
No.
I know. Yeah, I don't have those cool glasses.
Do you guys know why? I learned this the other day. Do you know why you can't watch the eclipse directly? Like what happens?
Well, you're not supposed to look at the sun directly, period. So if you're looking at for long periods of time.
No, but what happens is that because of the darkness that comes over, your eyes dilate more, but they're still taking in all of those sun rays, but your eyes are too dilated.
So really, it's your fault.
So it's even worse.
Again.
You're taking in more than your eyes actually should because they're not doing what they're supposed to do because it's also dark and they're all confused. And basically your eyes are like, what the fuck? Yeah.
I saw this thing on a clip today where you can take a box and you put a piece of paper on the inside of one and on the outside of the other side, you put some tin foil and make a little pinhole. And then apparently if you hold the box, so I might whip that up really quick because it's not supposed to happen until like 3 p.m. our time?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that is a safe way to view it. But
I was going to say it's also extremely cloudy here. So if I even see it.
Yeah.
If not,
but Google, good luck with that. Because you're almost like looking, you're not directly looking at the sun with the box.
Yeah, you're looking from behind.
Yeah. So
it's science, like, when they were looking at the nuclear explosion behind those little like square things that they had.
Yeah, I was there. Oh, there he is.
So was
last time this happened, I remember I was in Toronto still, and I used the same thing you're going to try to use, Megan. So,
did you know that there's?
If I whip it up, I'm going to add it on.
Yeah, I didn't have to make mine, so you are much braver than me. But it should work. It should be fine.
The next total eclipse isn't going to be until 2144. So.
Oh wait! Wow. I was like, I'll be around.
We might. Millennials apparently going to live to be 100. So
hopefully, so yeah.
Well, if I don't see this eclipse, I can listen to Total Eclipse of the Heart, and it's probably like the same thing.
I mean, if you're not playing Total Eclipse of the Heart while watching the eclipse, are you even watching an eclipse?
You're not doing it right. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Okay, Chantel, why don't you eclipse our brains with what we're going to talk about today.
Right. Well, first, actually, I just wanted to make quick mention about the amount of listeners that we've had and how kind of overwhelmed and happy we are with where we're at and the amount of support and love
it's more than just our parents.
It is. Yeah. Lindsay's been keeping track of the numbers and it's been very overwhelming and amazing. And we love everybody that has supported us and gotten us here. We're now, this is recording episode 12, but so hopefully we have even more by now. But it's been amazing. So thanks to all of our listeners and all of the people that have kind of been continually coming back. And thank you to the fire alarm.
Special thanks to that fire alarm.
It's continually coming back. So
Anyway, so I thought I would just mention that.
Mm-hmm.
You bring up a really good point. It's about consistency. So, so many of our friends and family are listening consistently and going back to
Mhm.
old episodes. And then just from, posting on Instagram and TikTok and things like that, we're getting people that, we do not know, which is exciting. But it all
Yeah.
starts with the ground root. So all of our friends and family and co-workers and friends of friends and acquaintances, it just means so much, because this is a dream that we think we've had for a long time. We don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
we want to do something together. And this is just like a dream. If this could become our full-time jobs, like, my God,
Yeah,
then
I
I
would,
then I've reached a new level of life.
that wouldn't even
Yeah.
feel like reality to me at that point, but like it would be the most amazing reality as well. So,
Yeah. And if you want a shout out, just pay us $100 and we'll happily do it for you.
we got to
Yeah,
start
we do
making money
cameos
somehow.
or something.
Yeah, sorry. we need you to literally support our dreams. So
Yeah.
just send a quick e-transfer,
Yes.
and then we'll say your name. We'll say a nice compliment about you. And
Yes.
just keep that up. Every month would be great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
perfect. Mom, can you pay for us, please?
Yeah.
Hi, Yvonne.
You're already paying
Oh.
them to be my friends. Can you please just
Well, yeah, we realized that your mom wasn't really paying us enough anymore, so that's why we're like, I
There
gotta
we
get a
go.
business
Inflation,
going, increase
you
this
know.
monthly. Yeah, inflation is really kicking it. So.
Okay, well, let's get into today. Ladies, you can open up that first photo there. And you two already know my topic, but today we're going to talk about the Mariana Trench.
The band?
Ooh,
Yeah, no, that's Mariana's Trench.
Oh, very similar.
big difference.
Yeah, I actually thought about getting that band T-shirt to like wear today.
Oh.
I was like, that would have been perfect, but
Mhm.
then I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay for that.
Did we talk about how we need to be financially supported, so we can't afford t-shirts for
I mean, if
jokes,
the
you
band
guys?
wants to send me their shirt to wear on the podcast, I'm all for
Different.
it.
Or
Yeah.
if they want to allow us to use music during this episode, we
Oh,
will.
there we go. Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
hear their music in this episode, you know that we've like reached a deal.
We've made it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the world's ocean. It is located in the Western Pacific, east of the Mariana Islands, between Japan and Australia. It actually spans in this crescent shape for 2,550 kilometers. So that's 1,580 miles. It reaches a maximum known depth of 11,000 meters. So 3,600 feet at a point that is known as the Challenger Deep. So you can see
Wait, 36,000 feet?
36,000 feet? Is that right?
3,600 feet doesn't seem deep.
36,000. 36,000.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, 'cause you said
36,000.
3,600. So I'm like, wait.
Did I?
You
I
mean
meant 36,000. So I'm already
Okay.
messing it up. Anyways.
No, you're
1,000 feet. And how many
36,000 feet.
and how many
Yes.
Mount Everests is that?
We're gonna get to that. Don't worry. I got
We have
lots
to
of
always
comparisons
measure
for
in
you
Mount
coming
Everest.
up. Yeah.
You have to, otherwise my little
Although I
peanut
don't
brain
understand
can't.
why you say Mount Everest, because like, have you ever?
Because
been
we've
to
never
Mount
been there.
Everest?
No, but I feel like it's easier for me to visualize things that are reaching from the ground level up versus down.
That's fair.
Yeah. You could also do by CN Towers for the Toronto people.
That's fair. I should
Yeah,
have done
so
that. Yeah.
we should have like a general world renowned, like it doesn't have to be Mount Everest, but one that everyone kind of is aware of, even like the
that.
Eiffel.
What's that tower in Dubai or whatever?
Oh, the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
I got lots of comparisons coming for you. Don't
Let's
worry,
go.
Megan. Okay.
Okay.
So that little dot there is where the deepest part actually is, at 36,000 feet,
That's
11,000
deep,
meters.
That is deep.
It's fascinating. It's an extreme environment, and it has a lot of unique characteristics and inhabitants, which we will get into as well.
Excited for that part.
But before we dig into the creatures that live here, I want to tell you a little bit how the Mariana Trench actually came to be.
Mhm.
So the Western Pacific Ocean contains the oldest ocean floor. Can you guys guess how old that is?
Oh God.
Dinosaur age?
Yes, or pre-dinosaur age.
180 million years old.
Like I can't even comprehend how old that is. I'm
Yeah.
not smart enough for this podcast, you guys.
It's old. When were dinosaurs around last?
That's making me feel really young, though.
That's right. You look great.
Okay, they were here between 245 and 66 million years ago. So yes, they were around when this trench was.
Oh, so
I always like when they compare two very well-known dinosaurs. Don't quote me, but I think they always use like the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus because those are like classic, your kids' first dinosaurs. And they'll say that those two species were like millions of years apart. Like I think that
like Land Before Time.
Yeah, I think that most
All
of us
those-
think that they're all together having fun,
Yeah.
eating plants or killing each other, however they want to go about it. But in reality, they spanned like millions and millions of years, and some of these species that we would put together like on a coloring sheet weren't even alive at the same time. Which is like,
I remember as a kid being disappointed when I found like pterodactyls like didn't live with like T-Rex.
I think that pterodactyls are so cool, and pterodactyls
but we
are
can just
spelled
go
with
by
a silent
Jurassic
P, right?
Yes,
it's like
I was like, all right, Jurassic Park isn't perfectly accurate, but I still love it. So.
No, but that's fine because he was creating a park. He was just bringing everybody
Exactly.
back,
So
and
he
like
brought
I would
everyone.
so you
can
go. Just saying,
you can't
I
have
just
them
want
all
to throw
together.
that out there. If Jurassic Park,
Land
was
Before
real,
Time, also, which was my favorite childhood movie. I don't know about
why were
you,
movies
but...
so sad when we were kids? Like
Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
Lion King.
Ugly crying. Well, yes.
Yeah. Lion King. Oh, when Mufasa dies.
Oh,
sorry
spoiler.
if we ruined that for anybody.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, plus it happens pretty early in the movie, so
yeah, just don't let your kids, listen to this episode until they've seen Lion King, Lindsay.
Number one, there should be no children listening to this.
Yeah,
but if there is, hi kids.
Anyone listening should have already seen The Lion King.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if it's not a core memory, then you're a little bit young, so go watch it now. Okay. Anyway, back to the related.
So back to how it's formed.
Trench,
So Mariana Trench is a subduction zone, and that is what it's called when one tectonic plate goes beneath another. So the two plates that were at play here was the Pacific plate, which went under the Philippine plate. Specifically, there's a portion of that plate called the Mariana plate. So the Pacific plate just slowly over time went deeper and deeper beneath the Mariana plate at this steep incline, which is what's giving it like this wall-like appearance. The seafloor itself is actually formed over time from lava.
That's cool.
Yeah. Really cool. So the lava, what happened is at the mid-ocean ridge, which there's lots of them all over the world. They're underwater.
The rim of fire, circle
so
of fire.
Yeah, it's a circle of fire. The volcanoes that are found all over the world. The lava, what happens when it erupts? It's fresh, it's warm, and it's buoyant, and it's kind of just like going along the mantle. But as it cools, it becomes denser, and the mantle below is soft. So then it actually settles lower, causing the floor to sink.
So it probably freezes pretty quickly at that depth, maybe like a lot faster.
Lava's like really, really hot. Down. So I'm not gonna pretend that I know all of that science, like how long.
You don't know the exact timeline of.
Sorry,
but actually, but we should make volcanoes one of our episodes because I find volcanoes fascinating.
I'm gonna give you a little bit more information about volcanoes here.
Okay, because it takes a lot to melt rock.
Yeah,
FYI,
it does.
If you didn't know.
Yeah.
So another reason that it is so deep here as well is because it's not near any major land masses. So when things are near major land masses, you have rivers and things that are leading into the ocean, which push in more sediment that will actually fill up most trenches over time. So this isn't near anything. The only land masses that is near is actually the volcanic islands that it has created over time. So it has 9 volcanic islands. It has 60 submarine volcanoes ranging from anywhere between 50 to 1,800 meters at the summit of the volcanoes, and 20 of these are still active.
Oh my God, it's a busy spot.
The deepest known
So it's getting
eruption,
deeper?
It can,
be getting deeper? Okay.
Yeah. The deepest known eruption on Earth happened at the back of the arc in 2018 at 4,500 meters deep, so 14,700 feet below the surface of the sea. So that's about halfway up Everest where that happened. But
Thank
down.
you for that. Up, but down.
I wouldn't even make it halfway up, so that's
yeah.
quite the high.
So would Would people have felt that in like Japan or Papua New Guinea, or I'm
So what
trying
they were saying is that a lot of things weren't actually felt because it is so far away from land, because
that's
before
so deep
1990
underwater?
they didn't have a lot of detection about underwater volcano eruptions because they didn't have the technology and they weren't feeling it themselves. But over the next 30 years there would be more than 40. After they got the new technology, they found more than 40 volcanoes erupting. Well, not
Technology
volcanoes,
is
but like
awesome.
volcanic eruptions
Mhm.
happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's obviously happening all the time and it's happening a lot under there. It's just, it's so far away. It's so deep that it's happening. You're not always seeing it, but they do have more technology to show that it's happening.
That is so freaky. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know anything about the ocean, you
We know
guys.
nothing.
I'm
Like,
amazed that we even know that. Like,
I know.
The stuff that
I
I
know.
learned that we even like learned through people going down there, it's like amazing.
Mhm.
And yeah. Um, After eruptions, the heat and the venting that occur will last for actually a few years. And this is where hydrothermal organisms will colonize there. And then they leave once everything cools again. So basically, they
Uh,
come in, they do a bunch of shit, and then
for
they just leave
years.
for years,
oh,
for a
wow.
couple of years, because the vents keep coming out through the volcanoes. As you descend further into the Mariana Trench, you encounter animals that have evolved unique adaptations to survive in the extreme pressure, the darkness, the cold temperatures, which we are going to dive into as we talk about
I
these
am
zones.
so excited
Yeah.
for this part because they're always the weirdest looking motherfuckers.
Yes. And exploring the Mariana Trench actually provides a lot of valuable insights about the diversity, the resilience, the, life on Earth, extreme habitats, all of that.
Mhm.
So it's really, really interesting. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure can reach an astounding 15,750 pounds per square inch. That would be like having an entire elephant's weight on the tip of your finger.
So that
So
finger is gone.
um, this immense pressure is due to the
Holy.
weight of obviously the water above that's exerting its force downwards, and it creates an
Mhm.
environment that's incredibly challenging for human-made equipment to get down into and structures to withstand without being specially designed. And Lindsay will actually be telling us a little bit about that next week. So everybody tune
Yes.
in for some more exciting
For
stuff.
part 2
Part two,
exploration.
yeah.
Even deeper. That kind of sounds like a porn. I'm sorry.
Mariana Trench, even deeper.
Starring
Yeah.
Mariana Trench.
Yeah. The name actually came after some like kings. Like there was a king or something at the time of the 1600s, and they named the islands there. And then because it's so close to the islands, that's how it got its name. So Mariana is
Was
actually a
his name
person.
Mariana?
Well, her name was Mariana. I forget what his name was.
He was like, "You are my favorite concubine,
Yeah,
therefore,
basically.
I'll name
I
this
will
island
name
after
this
you."
trench after you.
I have a little bit of sad stuff too that I just want to mention now because I didn't want to end on a bad note.
Okay.
Because the deepest part of the earth is not immune to how much humans have fucked it up with pollution. And I thought this was very important to note to fully understand what we're doing to this world. In 2016, organisms that were studied to have been found at a range of 7,840 to 10,250 meters. So that's like Everest plus, were found to have elevated concentrations of a chemical called PCB, which was banned in the 1970s due to its environmental harm. So in 2016, it was still found 45 years later.
1970s, they had stopped using it.
Wow.
1970s, they stopped using
Whoa.
it, and they still found it in organisms in 2016, down that deep. They have also found that 100% of amphipods that they have studied from the deep, which I'll get into later, but what they are, have at least one piece of microplastic in their body. 100% of them.
Oh,
I hear
wow.
so much shit about microplastics, and I
Yeah.
just,
In
I mean,
2019, plastic bags and candy wrappers were found at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench at the Challenger
that's
Deep.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Wow. And that just
So
shows how they don't really decompose very well.
Well, they
no.
don't at all, right?
You think
Ever.
that under the
Well,
pressure,
they
like
probably.
something would help
And
it, but
the
like,
Yeah.
salt, like,
I
because
mean, I
salt
know
yeah.
is
things
very
can be down
corrosive.
like very deep and it takes a long time. Like think about all the shipwrecks and stuff. It
Yeah.
takes a very long time for them to
But
kind of
this is like
decompose.
plastics
But
and like
yeah, you
chip
think the little
bags
wrapper.
and
Yeah.
folks, we got
This
to do
is
better.
this is not
And it's
meant to be
not
insensitive, but do you know the brand of the chocolate bars or chip
No,
bags?
I didn't look it up. But like
That would be
the thing is
I'm
interesting.
gonna try to buy like those paper bags of tortilla chips.
yeah,
Okay.
I
like
have been.
and do
Paper
you know what the
only.
thing is too is that the onus shouldn't be on the consumer. It really shouldn't. We can do as much
No.
as
How?
we
Like
can
it,
by
yeah.
reusing things. The onus really needs to be pushed onto the people that are giving this out, making
Making it.
sure that the
Mhm.
producers are taking better action, like you just said, the
Yeah.
organic wrappers, compostable stuff. Like even at my
Mhm.
job now, all of the wrappers for your spoons and reusable spoons are all compostable.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I found with clothes too. Like some of the companies I order clothes from, which hopefully one day they'll be sponsors for us.
mhm.
But I love that they wrap their stuff in compostable
Yeah.
materials.
Well, and I don't know if you
So
guys saw, but there was this new machine that got made not too long ago, and it can compost everything. Like you can put like your if let's say you had an old phone case, you can put your old phone case in there and it'll compost it and turn it into dirt that you can actually use. And it's just something that you can have at home. I
wouldn't
think it's
that
called
put
like a
microplastics in the ground?
it's got this technology that can like do this. It's called like a Lumi or something. I'll show you guys
That
later.
does
I
sound familiar. More
yeah.
more
Okay.
research is needed, but it's very
Yeah.
intriguing.
I remember it
Yeah.
came up like years ago as a prototype and now it's like actually something that you can have and like people are like, yeah, like
Oh, okay.
it's amazing. It basically makes it into soil that you just throw in your plants or you can just throw outside. So,
If we need to have potato chips, which we do as people, they're
yes.
delicious.
Yes.
We need to have them. So we're never going to stop wanting potato chips. If the packaging is not able to be recycled, or even if it is recycled, if most of that trash ends up just getting put into the ocean, as it seems like it does, or landfills, then it would be just incredible if the people that are requesting these bags, so like let's say I'm Mr. Potato Chip, I'm going to say I'm not going to go with this brand anymore. I want new bags that can be compostable. And then at
Yeah.
that point, you've changed everything from the top down. Like, yeah, like you guys were saying, as a consumer, you can only do so much because it's whatever is available. And
Yeah.
also, price does matters. Price does matter, sorry. And if you are not able to afford these certain brands that are, biodegradable and so, then you afford what you afford. So it has
Yeah.
to start from like we can't do it all. It has to start from the top down.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Lay's, get those lightly salted chips in a compostable bag.
Yes.
Like, I don't care
My
if the
favorite
bag is
chip.
made of like cornstarch, fibers, whatever, just yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Mr. Chip, get to work.
Yes. I just like found that so astounding. And there was even a point where they were talking about dumping nuclear waste down at the Mariana Trench
Oh
because it's
my
so deep. They were
God.
like, at least it's really deep and it'll be far away. And then they were like, wait, we actually don't know the environmental impacts that this will have. So let's not do this.
Yeah.
Like in barrels and things, like not something that's just like, we're just loosely throwing waste down there, but they're just like, but then they were like, wait, we don't actually know what this could potentially do. So let's not.
Yeah.
Like, thank God somebody had the wherewithal to say no.
I'm
But
I don't really know much about different power sources. I know that nuclear energy can be very safe. It seems very, very scary,
it
but I know that
is.
it is
It is one of the
one of the
safest.
safer ones.
Yeah.
So then maybe focus on how do you get rid of all the byproducts safely.
So
And
right
then
now they just dig and they just bury it. My
I
brother
know,
was
which is
telling me
like,
about that.
and that's not
Um,
good either. I
no, but
mean,
he was
maybe
telling me about like what it does and like and how it happens. And I can ask maybe he can come on here. He can tell us all about that sometime.
and even if he's not 100% right, it's more than we know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, because he
Mhm.
works with energy companies. Because
So it's a lot more than we
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
a lot more.
And then we can just have a whole episode dedicated to fact checking and
He can be our
actually
guest speaker.
There we go.
he'd be our now just as long as he pays that $100, he can be on the podcast.
Yeah, you have to
Perfect.
pay us to be. I don't know if that works that way, but we can
We're
buy him lunch.
There we go. Perfect.
okay.
I'm sure he'd
Subway.
appreciate it.
Subway only one cookie.
Yeah, not two. What are we,
No.
rich?
No.
Okay, let's get back into it though. Let's start talking about the zones. And we're going to
I'm
start with the
excited.
top and go down. So we're going to
The tap.
start this tap. We're going to start with the epipelagic zone, also known as the sunlight zone.
My favorite
And
zone.
this spans from 0 to 200 meters or 1,333 average size bananas from tip to tip.
I had a banana
Actually
earlier,
makes it a
so
lot easier to comprehend.
This is the zone that is closest to the surface and receives the most sunlight, hence why it's called the sunlight zone.
the doy.
It comes from the Greek word literally meaning at the surface of the sea, epipelagic. There's enough
You know
light.
what? It sounds so cool in English, but in Greek it's like, yeah, that's just
Yeah,
it's literally just
it's literal meaning.
but
Yeah.
for us, we're
Yeah.
like, ooh, it sounds
Anyone
so
who's Greek listening to
sciencey.
this, like, what's your
Yeah.
point?
Yeah. Like, yeah, okay. So there's enough light here for photosynthesis to occur in this zone. It's pretty vibey. That's why it's referred to the sunlight zone. It's got lots of light. You read a maximum amount of pressure here at
Does it have good light though?
uh,
Like,
I
Like
mean,
golden hour
your
light.
best side.
yeah.
Actually,
Underwater
we'll get into
photography.
that in a little bit.
Ooh.
The maximum of pressure that you reach here is 3 atm. So at surface, we're at 1, and then it's about 1 atm for every 10 meters that you go down. Anyways, so it's about 44 pounds per square inch that you reach.
It's
Is
still
that
a
right?
lot.
Or is it 30? 31 ATMs. Anyways, it's still a lot. Yes, it's not great. I'm sure it wouldn't feel amazing to go down there.
At what
And
point do you know, like, what point would you feel it personally if you were just diving down? Do you know, like,
so
approximately?
I kind of was reading into that and I didn't really fully understand because we're made of water. We don't always feel the pressure as much because there's like pressure coming back out as well.
Okay.
So, but they don't think that humans can withstand 500 meters plus.
Mm. Yeah.
That was like
So
the
I know
general
for your
consensus that I
last
got.
episode, we know people dove down at least 300
We're going to
something.
talk
Or wasn't
about
it
that.
300? Okay.
I got this. Don't worry, I got this. Also, just the video that Megan made note of in your episode, Bermuda Triangle, we know what happens to light and that you lose a lot of colors pretty quickly. You actually lose red first, which means that if you were to bleed about 10 meters underwater, it actually looks black. So
That's
yeah,
horrifying.
right?
Okay.
The color that
That's
you
horrifying.
Suits are actually not the safest color for
well,
underwater
so
rescue?
if you remember from her, from that, Megan posted it on our Instagram, the video. It actually,
And also too, like the video, once I found the right hashtag, it's posted 1,000 times by different people, so you
yeah.
can find it.
So vibrant colors you don't lose as quickly, even though you lose green. Neons kind of stay for a lot longer, and you basically, and blue is the last to lose, and it goes green and then blue. But at about 150 meters, all you can see is like green and blue, even though the vibrants do kind of stay for a lot longer. So if you actually go to the next photo there, I got this, and it shows about how light penetrates the sea. But you can see that there are some differences there as well. There's a lot of factors that come into play. It's the time of day, the angle of the sun. Is it cloudy? How clear is the water? The salt content of the water. Are you in the open ocean? Are you in coastal waters? So any given day, you can lose colors a lot quicker as well.
I'm going to send that video again to you guys right now, just so you have it for.
I should have put it up here. I did have an extra
That's okay.
picture of it.
You know, I'm going to put it in our group chat on Instagram.
There you go. But yeah, there in that one, he goes to about 200 feet, and you can still see the vibrant colors. They're duller, but you can still see them quite a bit, like a highlighter almost.
It's just pretty amazing that even 200 feet and it changes so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So about 90% of all known sea life is found in this zone because it is so rich with food. I won't get into the specific animals of the trench here because there's a lot of them, and they're your basics. You know, you got your sharks, your sea turtles, your plankton, your fish, all of that kind of stuff. So we'll get into more fun ones in a little bit instead.
Yeah, we want the ones from the deep.
Yeah.
And also too, anyone that's listening, obviously this podcast is going to cover a bunch of topics, you know, some sciencey, oceany. I do a lot of the true crime stuff, but we have a few planned for specific creatures, and if people are really interested in that, please let us know. I feel like Chantel will probably be doing most of that. That's kind of like her area, but if you want like a deep dive on sharks or octopi or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Shark Week, we will definitely get to.
Oh my God, guys, I have so many sharks for us to talk about during Shark Week.
And also by Shark Week, can we do Shark Month so we each get to do an episode?
Yeah,
we
I
should
think that's
each
a
do
great
something
idea.
on sharks. It's such a big topic.
And then there's also like, I actually want to get into these zones a little bit separately as well and more animals, because I could only cover so many, right? Because otherwise we'd be here all day, even in the trench itself. And like,
I give you
it's
permission.
Just absolutely fascinating if we could
cover
just go,
all
like,
of these
zone by zone in different parts of the world and the different animals that are there, and like animals that can go into each zone. Like it's so, I mean, we talked about that Neil thing last time that we were here, the Neil Sea, where you could scroll down and see, like, it's amazing, like how deep an emperor penguin can actually go and how deep a polar bear can go and like where whales dive down to in order to get food sometimes. So it's just,
whales
it's
are
amazing.
incredible because whales are like
sperm
they're
whale?
all the way up and down.
Yeah, exactly.
I think sperm whale, that's the whale that probably goes the deepest, right?
Really?
Yeah, I
think
think you're
so.
right. Yeah, I think that's the one.
Chantel, make one of those same things, but for just sea creatures.
I like
Oh my
it.
God. Just like pop them on their little chart as you go down.
Yeah.
So the most photosynthesis occurs here, and it's done by phytoplankton, which is a microscopic floating algae. That's where the sea gets most of its photosynthesis.
You know him best from SpongeBob.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, he's not the Krabby. He wants the Krabby Patty recipe.
He wants the recipe.
But what
he
does
owns
he
the
have?
chum bucket. Doesn't sound
Um,
quite as appetizing,
no,
in my opinion, but
no. Well, maybe to a whale.
true.
Shark.
Or shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this area of the water, it has the most diverse temperatures across the globe as well. I could not pinpoint the exact temperatures in the trench, but normally the Pacific, I think in that area, it's kind of warm, but not like the warmest. The warmest is actually the Red Sea, which is about 32 degrees Celsius, so 90 Fahrenheit. And the
That's
coldest
warm.
is the Arctic, which is -2 degrees, so 28 Fahrenheit. Just remember, salt water freezes at a lower temperature. That's why it's not actually frozen, even though it's at -2. The next zone that we get into is the mesopelagic zone. It's also known as the twilight zone. So that is 200 to 1,000 meters deep, or 2,500 large pizzas. This,
Oh my God. I had pizza last night. It was really good. I didn't have that many, but
no,
it was
you
really,
didn't
really
order
good.
2,500 pizzas?
No, I wasn't super hungry.
Okay,
But
got you.
Yeah. Another night.
This zone receives little sunlight and is characterized more by dim light, hence why it's called twilight. And the light rays that actually do still reach to this depth are not enough for photosynthesis, nor is it enough for the human eye to be able to perceive.
So a human, if should you find yourself here, it's black.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could see above you and see where the light starts, or you're like, how does that work?
Question. Should ask a scuba diver.
Because that's freaking scary.
Yeah, I guess you get to a certain point where it's just so dark that you can't tell. But
can you imagine?
Wait,
not
how
telling
deep
which
is the
way's up?
twilight zone again? Can you just tell me?
It
that
goes
number
to
again?
200 to 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty.
So
big
it
range.
means in Greek, middle of the sea. Pretty.
The Greek are just straight shooters.
They are.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
So this one, the pressure varies here, and it gets to about 1,475 pounds per square inch. Sometimes if I have a weird pause, it's because I hear the alarm and it stops me from talking, but we might have it edited out, just by the way.
Don't worry, I can edit the
You
audio.
can edit out my weird pauses too.
I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not talking, because then hard for whatever I'm saying to be taken, because then I have a freaking alarm in the back. So if I was in the middle of saying something, I'll just try to like zip it and then I'll restart once it's done.
That's actually perfect. That makes it easy for me. I don't know about for the video editing, Chantel.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
It's whatever.
You know what? You should just do really, really big arm movements always. That way, when it's chopped up, your arms are all over the place.
Yeah, constantly wiggle.
It's like this to this, just immediately. So something very cool happens in this zone for water temperatures. It can vary, but for most of the zone, it can still mix freely with the water above. So you get like a varying of temperatures. But there's a phenomenon that happens in this zone called a thermocline, which basically between 500 to 800 meters down, depending on where you are in the world, the water stops being able to mix with the water above and it just drops.
Yes,
like
I learned
oil
about
and
this
vinegar
from the Meg too.
from the Meg too.
So it stays at a very constant.
One accurate part of the movie. So
yeah, there you go. Now you know it was true. So all of the Meg was true. Got it.
Yes.
So it's water pretty much stays at a constant from here on out, from there, varying by like a degree or two. And this is the zone that has seen the world's deepest dive in an open circuit. So open circuit means that they not using a rebreather for their oxygen. So that means that he had to go down with like a shit ton of tanks. His name was Ahmed Gabr. This was in the Red Sea, and he went down to 332.35 meters, so 1,090 feet. It took him 15 minutes to descend and 13 hours and 35 minutes to ascend back up.
What?
Whoa. Okay. So
What?
that
It
is
would
a
just
huge
like really hurt
difference.
him, I guess, to
You
go too
have to
fast.
because of the bends. Remember how we said there's like that calculation for how
The
deep you
martinis.
are, the martinis, that
So,
the how
so
deep you
how?
are versus how long you spend at each zone, then means that you have
Yeah.
to spend a certain amount of time at each 10 meters coming up.
Oh
But
You have to
wow,
15
like
that's so
minutes down
long.
and 13
50,
hours up.
13 hours and 35 minutes up.
That
I'm surprised he could go down that fast too. So like
I
he
know.
was
So you
because
can
of his tank,
yes,
he
you
was
can
able to like still be lucid and stuff.
yeah. So he would have been
Okay.
on a tri mixture that we talked about last time. But
Mhm.
yeah, so he was able to go down there. I read a little bit about it actually because I was thinking about talking about it when we were doing the blue hole, but then I was like, I have too much to talk about. I'll just leave this part out. It said like he went down with like 12 tanks or something like that he had to take with him, and like it was
That's
insane.
heavy.
Yeah, the amount of weight
Hence
that
the
he had to
15
do.
minutes.
Yeah.
No,
So
he just dropped.
Yeah,
yeah.
just sink right down.
So did he just like drop the tanks and now they're
I
at the
don't know
bottom
if
of
he
the
has
sea? Or maybe
somebody.
when they're empty, they just pop right up. I don't know.
That's a great
Yeah, I wonder if they
question.
float to the
I hope they're not
surface.
Because I mean, like, we don't
polluting the
want to keep
That's
waters.
a lot of
adding
weight
to the ocean
Yeah.
garbage.
I
Or
went
maybe
swimming with
because
my
it's
son
empty, it's
yesterday,
lighter,
and
so you'd be able to
Yeah,
take
that's
it
what I
up.
was thinking.
yeah, I went swimming with my son yesterday, and he is like not heavy at all. You know how little he is, and just trying to swim with him, I'm like, this is hard.
Mhm.
So I can only imagine with
Imagine
like
having 12 of him
tanks,
strapped to
Yeah.
you.
and people are always like lighter in the water, right? So I feel
Yes.
like a tank
Which
is.
is why it's good to exercise in the water, because then you come out and your muscles are like, holy crap.
Yeah,
It's
you have
like
that
we did like a
Do you
resistance.
guys
yeah.
ever watch those
Mhm.
videos of the really, really fat cats on the treadmill in the water?
Oh yes. I want to put
So
Samus
No.
on one of
cute.
those.
So it's
Is that
good
for
for
like
their
rehabilitation
It's
for the
good for their
cat?
joints.
yeah, I was gonna say, so it could be
Okay.
for rehab, but mostly it's because they are so chonky and cute of any size, but they're so chonky that's really not good for their little legs. So being in the water, like we had mentioned, buoyancy, so it helps with their
Yeah.
joints, but helps them be a little more buoyant. And they're walking on this water treadmill and just not liking it. But
Oh
that helps
no.
them kind of get to a weight level where they can maybe do more games outside. But
Yeah.
it's just really sweet because like most, I mean, there's always a few cats on Instagram that love water, but most do not. So it's just so sad. Like they're in the water because they're so chonky.
Yeah. I'm
Babies.
really worried I'm gonna have to get Samus there one day, but we're trying.
We're
We're trying.
we're gonna be there to support
Samus
her
is
every
just
step
the
of the
way
way.
she is. We know you feed her the healthiest
I do.
food.
I feed her the healthiest food. She barely eats human food. She's now started to like chicken. That's about it. And like she
Yeah.
is just like we've done the calorie counts, we've done everything, and it's just it's so painful.
Yeah, when
Anyways.
we lived together and Honey and Samus had to share food, like they even together, they didn't even eat as much food as like one I was recommended for one cat. So
I
like we
know.
did not know
She
I
how
doesn't get
wonder
Samus
that.
I wonder if it's the
was
same
getting
with
her
with
booty and
humans. If, like sometimes with genetics, you are just gonna kind of fall at a natural weight.
Yeah.
But like if you were to go above and beyond that, it's always harder to go back to a smaller weight. Like fat
Well,
cells.
yes.
Mhm.
There
And
is
Samus isn't
that.
huge. Like
No, but she's a
she's just a
tall and long cat
yeah.
too. So she's taller than the average cat and she's longer than the average
With the
cat. And then
smallest
Yeah.
head I've ever
the
seen.
tiniest
Yeah,
head, it doesn't
her
make any
head
sense.
and legs and tail are all like kitten
I
size.
love
Listen,
her
I
so
think that we
much.
should put a photo of Samus on this episode when we
I will.
post
I
it, just so
will.
that there's context.
I'll put
Oh,
one of
and
her when she's lounging on a chair because then you can really see her belly. She's got like her arm up on the
and then we're gonna
armrest.
figure out. You're gonna measure Samus. I'm telling you, you're gonna do this from nose to tail, and then we're gonna figure out how many Samuses from the surface to the bottom
Ooh,
of
I do
Mariana
have her
Trench.
measurements. I
Yeah.
should have done that.
Okay, guys, don't worry. When this episode comes out, we will post the
The cat
calculation.
measurement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the,
Yeah,
the calculation.
calculation.
Cat.
Oh, guys, we're hilarious.
Yeah, I'll see myself out.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to some animals living in this zone. Well, in a minute. So we're going to animals living in the zone, because there is no photosynthesis, they have two options for food. They can either scavenge for things that fall to the bottom, or they can feed on things above or below their zone.
So
Which
Uber
means that
doesn't
they
deliver here, is
no,
what
it
you're
doesn't.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uber was like, I'll see myself. Like, no, that's not going to happen. We can't afford the submarines. So they Yeah, they have to either be hunters, but that would mean that they actually have to be able to withstand the pressure changes that happen above and
And
below.
maybe some
So
can't, right?
some can't, some can, some that's just fascinating down there. Also, so since photosynthesis isn't happening, what has to occur down there, because we know that life has to be created from energy, what actually happens is something called chemosynthesis, which is bacteria in that area make it from the chemicals in the water, the ground, and from hydrothermal vents. They're able to do chemosynthesis, and that creates energy. So chemosynthesis is the like backbone of all life below 200 meters.
That's cool. I
Yes.
don't really get it, but very cool.
So, in this zone, we find the absolute nightmare fuel called the goblin shark.
I actually know about
You can
this
go
Such a
to the next
cutie.
creature.
photo
Okay, let me see.
there.
Oh,
Yeah, he's beautiful,
stunning.
right? And they're not just nightmare fuel because of what they look like, but also because they get to be 5.5 meters in length or 18 feet.
That's
Love
too
nightmare
big.
fuel.
So they're a little big. They typically live around 900 meters below the surface. They have been known to dive deeper though as they get older, which like I understand. The older I get, the less I want to be around people too. So
Yeah.
Also,
The
just
more
the more like
darkness you
crushing
descend.
pressure
yeah.
of just life. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
That makes sense.
They seem to have kind of got the shitty end of the stick when evolution was happening and looks were being decided.
They
They
just got
have
whatever
this.
what was left over.
There was some
Hey, you
leftover
don't
parts.
know goblin shark culture, Chantel. These could
That's
be
he could be the
a
beauty queen.
beauty. Like, yeah, yeah.
You're right. You're right. I don't. That is my human judgment,
The
and
longer
I
the nose, the
apologize.
more beautiful you are.
I should really be more
Um,
accepting.
the more teeth you have that are going in different directions,
Hmm.
Yeah.
maybe the more prize money you
Yeah,
get.
Yeah,
maybe this goblin shark paid good money for this dental work.
that's
You don't know.
fair.
It was elective.
So they have a beautiful pink hue to their skin and a face that only a mother could love.
So it's a
They
pink goblin demon.
Yes. They
Okay.
have a protruding snout that almost looks like a dagger and a jaw that gives them a very gummy smile. The jaws themselves actually extend past their snout when they
I
are
hate
attacking
that.
prey. Their teeth
Nope.
are interesting, however. They have 53 uppers and 62 lower, and they are very long, sharp, and narrow in the middle. But as you go back further in the jawline, they become more flattened and are used for grinding, kind of like
Like
a molar.
molars.
Yeah.
Okay.
It eats
That's even
anything.
so they have like human teeth behind the
Yeah.
Yeah,
claw
creepy, right?
teeth.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's like when you
Um,
see a shark attack, like like the great white, and
Yeah,
they
their
yeah.
jaw
open their
like
mouth, and like the jaw,
unhinges.
their gums really start to come out.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what's
So
happening with
that's
this
what he
guy.
looks here. It eats anything from fish to crustaceans, showing that it forages for both food.
Crustaceans.
Crustaceans,
No,
showing
I
that
mean
it
I would have said the same thing.
Delicious.
showing that it forages for both food at the bottom and in the water itself. Now, the goblin shark, though, is relatively slow moving, so it's more of an ambush predator. So, what it does is that it has a fairly low body density and it has a large, oily liver that makes it neutrally buoyant. So, it just kind of like drifts slowly towards its prey. And once it's in range, it shoots its jaw forward to snap
Okay.
at its prey. And then when it retracts its jaw back, it also works as a type of suction that literally like sucks the prey back into its mouth as
Oh
well.
my gosh.
So
I wonder if there's
I
a
I,
video
I
of
hate
this
it.
out
there is, yeah.
Oh
It's
great.
terrifying and cool all at the same time.
I'm just
Well,
gonna
I want to watch it.
quickly Google it so that I don't forget. Look it up later. Goblin
Goblin
shark
shark eating
eating.
There you go.
attack.
All right,
Attack. Goblin sharks
got it.
attack. Um
Got that ready for later.
Yeah,
Got
I'm gonna be watching
perfect.
that later too.
yeah.
So next, you can go to the next photo, is the frilled sharks. They are
I'm
found.
sorry. That's a shark.
Yep, I'll get into it. They are found in lots of areas around the world, but mostly between the depth of 500 to 1,000 meters. They can be found deeper than this zone, meaning that they span into different meters, and they can also be found as high as 50 to 200 meters. Mostly they're juvenile at that time. It may also be because they were caught in fishermen nets and things like this, and they may
Like
also do it
brought
for
up.
feeding when, like, food isn't happening as much, and they go there kind of like, we have to eat, so they go up there.
This guy looks like he's almost at the surface.
I know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they're not the prettiest in the animal kingdom, that is for sure.
Step up from the goblin shark potentially.
Yes.
It's
Well,
stunning compared to the goblin shark.
so he is known as a living fossil because they have been
Ooh.
around for 80 million years.
That's like, no.
Yeah.
You long enough.
Yeah.
He looks
That's
very
creepy.
alien to me.
Yeah, so they have this like snake-like, eel-like appearance, and
Mm.
they don't have a dorsal fin where you like think of a shark having its dorsal fin, right? Like
Mhm.
their dorsal fin is actually closer to the back there. You can see it.
Oh,
And
wow. Like way on the back, like near the
yeah,
base of the tail, kind
and they
of.
have this like blunt-ended snout, and they have multiple rows of razor-sharp teeth, each that are three-pronged, giving them almost 300 in total.
The
Again,
teeth
too
look a little
many
weird. They look like
teeth.
almost like little like coral
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
pieces.
It doesn't quite look like teeth. So they have 6 gills on either side of their head, and they each have a frill. And the frontmost gill actually wraps all the way around, making it look like they have this like frilly collar. And they'll use that to make themselves look bigger. They'll use that while they are trying to find prey. They'll also use it as like, hey, look at me, I'm big, I'm huge, get away from me, don't eat me at the same time.
That's what I do when I'm
Same.
around. So, yeah.
Maybe it's
So
like, is it a mating thing too? Like, some animals like to
so we don't actually know a
impress.
lot about their mating because obviously we
Okay.
don't see them that often, because
Guys,
I
they're
do get into
private,
that in a
okay?
second.
Stay out of their
Yeah.
business. It's whatever they
It's
want to
fair.
do as long
Exactly.
as no one gets hurt and there's consent.
Get
Yeah.
this
What
camera out of my
happens in your
face.
bedroom is your business.
It has 2 anal fins. It has its back fin, its dorsal fins
What did we
located
just
further
say
back.
about keeping their private life? Like,
And it has 2 little pectoral fins up here, looking like almost little arms there at the front.
it's
Their average
very
length,
weird looking.
they are. They're so weird. They average a length of 1 to 1.5 meters, so 3 to 5 feet, with the males obviously being smaller than the females, as most males are. Fun fact, their eyes
Oh.
don't have that little protective membrane like most sharks have.
Sorry,
So
I
they're
thought you were
just
going to say
like,
their eyes don't exist because
oh,
I can't
no,
see an eye.
they're there.
I see one. I see
But
one.
they don't have
Oh, yeah.
the protective
Lid.
membrane like most sharks do. So they didn't say much about what they do. I'm assuming not much at all, since they live in the depth. And they're just like out there
So
just
they're
raw
just
dogging it,
freeballing
just
it.
being like
They're just raw dogging
like
their
whatever
life.
gets in my eye gets in my eye. It's all good.
Yeah.
So if one of these guys says, I didn't see a thing, you know he's lying.
I guess you don't really need to blink then if it's just always dark. So
Or see.
I don't know.
So they've never heard the phrase blink and you'll miss it. They're like, what does that mean?
So how do they detect? Can they see in the dark, or is it some
Most
kind
of
of
these
other?
fish down there are done. They just like have sensors. A lot of them have like little sensors around their mouth and around their cheeks and on their body, so they can sense movements in the water. According to stomach contents that were studies, it seems like they mostly prey on deep water squids and fish, and that can actually include other sharks that they'll eat as well.
It must be a guessing game a little bit. Like you just sense something, you're like, maybe food.
Exactly. Not much is actually known about their hunting strategies because it hasn't been seen a whole lot, but due to the shape and the direction of their teeth and how wide they can open their mouth, it's speculated that they can eat prey that is much larger than themselves. It's been
Good for
suggested
them.
that they may gestate their babies for up to 3.5 years. So like, no, thank
my
you.
God.
But like I
What a
said, we're not
complicated life for
certain.
these guys.
Yeah, we're not certain because there's not a lot of information on their mating habits. So they have anywhere between 2 to 10 babies at a time. That's what we know about them.
Wow. I will never complain about pregnancy again.
Right? That's longer than an elephant. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, elephants
Yeah.
are like what, 18 months or 2 years or something?
I think it's 18 months. I think you're
Something like
right. Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, 3 years is a long time. At that point, kids are eating solid foods and potty trained, and there's like, I'm still
and if they're
carrying
like
my
most
baby.
other sharks, like remember sharks, they're not in egg sacs in the womb, and they'll just like be floating around in there because
Yeah.
they will fight one another to the death normally inside of
So
like
they're
great
not
whites and
hands-on
things.
Oh.
mothers.
No.
I also love that they're called mermaid verses.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when they lay their eggs, yeah, they're called mermaid
Yeah.
verses.
We'll get into that later on.
Shark bait. Shark bait.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Save
Um,
Every time someone says shark bait, I'm like, Ooh, haha. Sorry, I have to.
So the next animal that we're going to talk about in this area is the barrel eye,
I love
which
this guy.
if
I
I
know.
didn't read enough to know that these things actually exist, I still have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that these things are real.
Wrapping
I
your
think the
head around.
I think the first time that I saw a picture, I was like, this is made up. What movie is this from? Like what?
I'm almost positive I saw this the first time the BBC was putting out not Animal Planet. Remember, it was like 10 years ago, and it was like the nature documentaries. There's like so many. There's like Blue Planet, My Planet, all those ones
Sure,
with
one of
David
them. Yeah.
Attenborough. I'm pretty sure that's where I first saw this, and it's like one of those things where no one talks about it. It didn't look real, and if I
Yeah.
didn't have David tell me about it, I'd be like, "That's not a thing."
No, I never would have thought this
Yeah,
was real.
Someone made this up in
always
Photoshop.
believe David Attenborough.
You have
Always.
to.
You said it.
Yeah,
We talk about
100%
him
believe him.
later.
Really?
Yeah.
He's just the best, man.
He is. So these guys are found between 600 to 2,500 meters in depth. So they can actually go beyond this zone, the twilight zone. And they only get to be about 6 inches in length. They're not actually very big. And they're shaped kind
Little
of like a
babies.
torpedo for those that are listening.
Well, we will have this on the post, right?
Yeah. So I actually meant to maybe say that beforehand. Like I'll definitely have a list maybe somewhere that you guys can kind of see what we're going to go through. So if you want to look it up ahead of time, we'll post as much as we can on the website, and we'll post as much as we can on Instagram and everything as well. So you guys,
Because you guys need to be looking these up. Like even while you're listening, if you're on your phone, you want to Google them as you're listening.
Yeah.
Having a visual helps because damn.
Yeah. So these guys are mainly black bodies with light tips at the back fin, and of course a freaking see-through dome head. Scientists believe that they may have a clear head to help them collect what little light they can get down there and give them an advantage over competitors for food because they use that light to be able to see things.
Wow.
They are named after the shape of their eyes, which resemble barrels inside their head. Predominantly, these eyes are looking upwards, but they are able to rotate them forward as needed, but they're looking for prey upwards.
Can I just say that I'm surprised they're named after their eyes when the most obvious feature is
This is the clear
see-through
head
head.
fish.
See-through head, yeah. And those two little things at the front that look like eyes, that's their nostrils.
Oh, wait.
See, I thought that was like, a million years ago when they had
I
eyes
thought it just looked a little
in the front.
sad.
Yeah, no, he looks like he has this like sad little like tiny dolphin nose snout and like little eyes.
It looks like a dolphin head. You're right.
So where is the eye?
So
The
those
two
little
big
glowy
marbles. Green things?
Yeah, those are
Those
those
are the
eyes, and it's
eyes?
looking up right now.
So it'd be like if you had
wow.
two
Okay.
eyeballs on top of your head instead of in front, and
But
they're
like on top,
mostly
but
looking.
inside and looking.
Oh yeah, because this
clear
your
dome
whole head is
shell.
clear.
Okay, I'm not fully seeing the barrel from those
Yeah, they
eyes,
look
but
more like marbles, don't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like the big glass marbles you'd
yeah,
use.
the glass marble eye fish. That
There we
would work.
go.
Yeah.
Come on, we should be
no,
fish.
the clear head glass eyed marble fish rolls.
It rolls off the tongue.
So easy.
And the fact that they're only 6 inches is precious. Like they're these little weird fish. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the Twilight Zone. We're gonna move into the Bathypelagic Zone, aka the Midnight Zone, and this one is
And
from.
wait, is that what the Greek call it? The
They
Midnight
Greek
Zone?
call it Deep of the Sea.
So it sounds very good.
That works too.
So this is from 1,000 to 4,000 meters. That's about 1,878 couches.
Wait, sectionals or like a standard?
what
Like
kind of
average
couch are we
side
talking
couches,
here?
average size
Okay.
5-foot couches.
3-seater couch.
Yeah.
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 That's say it again. How many couches?
1,878.
I mean, that's more than I've owned. That's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this zone is in perpetual darkness and has very low temperatures of about 4 degrees. The average
that sounds
depth of the
nice. That's not the
ocean
darkness
is
part.
4 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
That's
But
actually
it's- what is
not
that in
as cold as I
American?
thought.
Me neither. I thought it'd be much colder.
I thought it'd be like below zero.
But you know what, too? I always get caught up on, like, if
Yeah,
I'm
but
going to go for a walk or something and it says, oh, it's 4 degrees. I'm like, yeah, but with wind chill, like, it's just,
No, but
I
like
think
4 degrees in
underwater.
the water is also a lot
different.
different than
39 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, somewhere
approximately.
around there. Because
Yeah, but water temperature, man, is never the same.
It's never good. This is still going to
No.
take your breath away. That's for sure.
Polar plunge into darkness.
Yes. So most of the ocean The average depth of the ocean is in this zone. So 3,688 meters. So that's about 1,732 couches. And the pressure can reach about 6,000 pounds per square inch. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the deep sea hatchetfish.
I don't think
And
I
if
want
you
to see
ever
anything
thought about
in
what
this zone.
Dory from Finding Nemo would look like as a ghost, you probably would be picturing this guy.
Okay, hold
That's
on.
like so.
Oh my
that's
god!
so good.
It does. It looks like Dory turned into a zombie and is now
Zombie
haunting you.
Dory.
Oh,
Yeah.
Honestly, the eyes are kind of cute. I don't maybe.
it
Yeah.
is like a cute demon.
I told you it's
Yeah.
zombie as like a ghost, or if zombies
It
saw,
look-
or if Dory like saw a ghost, like
Or like okay, what are those
We
things
have to
in
do a picture back
Hellraiser
to
that-
back of Dory
Here we
and this
go.
fish.
Yeah.
We
So,
can-
so you know in the movie Hellraiser, those guys are called what, like nanomites, or what are they called? All like the
No,
weird demons
I
that are
don't
into sex.
remember.
Anyway, it looks like this would be their pet fish.
There you go. Yeah, I like
So
that.
if you are a fan of Hellraiser, just get that energy and then imagine Dory became one of those like weird
there you
demon.
go.
Picture in your head if you're listening, and then look this up.
Yeah.
and see how accurate you
Yeah,
are.
and see if you're close.
I thought it was much
Wow.
more fun to have you picture it in your head before we went to the photo. So
Yeah, it looks just like Dory. That's like, well, I mean, it doesn't look just like, but you know what I mean, like the
Yeah.
the tracing.
The shape and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah. So
And they're
these
called
guys
the
are
hatchet fish. You said
deep sea hatchetfish. Yeah.
deep sea hatchet.
So they are found between 50 to 1,500 meters below sea level. So they actually cross 3 zones as needed, and they only grow to be about 5 inches. They get their
Oh.
name from the shape that they make, and they kind of have this silver shine, making them look like a hatchet. So you can actually go to the next photo; it'll show them from the side.
Oh wow, that's so different. from
That's
the-
not
from
what
the
I was
front.
expecting.
Yeah. So the silver shine is actually light producing organs that they have all over their body, and these help them to camouflage from below. So it's something called counter illumination, and that's what they use to escape predators that are trying to get them from below. So they reflect the blue light, basically making them look invisible.
I think sharks do that too. Their belly is white and their top is dark, so that from looking
from
up they
below.
look invisible, and looking down they look invisible. Like the sharks need more
Fair.
things
That
to make
is
them.
cool.
Yeah, this
More
fish.
shark facts that we're
Yeah,
saving.
I
for
know.
Shark Week.
Sorry, just try to forget all these cool shark facts.
Yes.
We'll save this for the big shark month episode.
month.
Yes.
shark.
So they mainly eat crustaceans and plankton. As you can see, he's eating a little shrimp
So
guy
he's
there.
eating that little shrimp
Yeah.
guy right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's a really big meal for like his body size.
yeah, it's fair.
Right?
Or it's like when we go out for brunch and we're like, yeah, we can have.
yeah. Or like
all
all
the
you can eat
mimosas and-
sushi.
Oh my god. Oh,
Ugh.
I have that sushi.
All you can eat
so
sushi
long.
is like, I don't do that anymore. It's too dangerous. I
Didn't
always
we
hate
do that?
myself. I always hurt.
There's I always like question my life choices.
Yeah,
But didn't we all have sushi that one time? You guys, it was near your old place and it came on
yeah,
a boat.
Kibo, the
God,
sushi.
Yeah.
was
It wasn't
boat.
all you can eat, but it was
No.
very good.
But it was
We
like
did our
made
best.
for it's called the Love Boat for 2, and like definitely 3 people can eat that. So
It was good.
yeah, it was good.
We need to have some sushi next time we're all together.
Mm-hmm.
yes, definitely.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So the next photo is the telescope octopus. And
Can we look?
they are just so funny looking. You can't help but love them.
So cute.
They're so cute.
Aren't they?
It looks like he's just wrapped in like a blue goo or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. You're right.
So they're found at 150 meters to 2,000 meters. So also going between a couple of zones there.
That's a big range.
And they are completely see-through and tend to drift through water vertically this way to try and so predators can't see them because they're so see-through. They're not really seen if they're going sideways. They have a slight webbing between each tentacle that gives them the appearance of like a ghost in the water.
A ghost. This is our new
And-
mascot.
Yes.
Cutie.
Just below the mantle, you can see where it's got its name. Actually, the next photo, I gave a close-up of them because they're just so funny.
Wait, are those their eyes?
Those are their eyes, and they protrude out like little red telescopes.
They sure do.
Yeah. And they obviously get the name because of how they're shaped, and it actually gives them a wider field of vision because they can
Well-
like go more peripherally. Yeah, exactly. They just got these like things going all over
I feel like
the
the
place.
first photo they look more like eyes than they do in the second.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just needed that close up. Like, they're
Oh
just-
yeah.
It almost
What
looks
is that?
like what was that game there was like a game that you used to play that had these like clear. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And you put it into the holes as you're like moving it around. Oh,
The
like a
game Sorry?
child game.
Oh, like Light
Or
Bright
Trouble?
or something?
Oh, they do almost look like light bright
Light
things,
Bright!
actually.
Light
Yes,
Bright.
that's perfect. That wasn't what I was thinking of, but yes, that's perfect.
I think that's probably pretty darn close. Light
Yeah.
Bright. What is that little orange thing? Like, did these guys have little
Oh,
brains?
that's its sex organ, I believe.
Oh,
I
above
remember
its
correctly.
eyeballs?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't
Good
know a
place
lot.
for it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to miss anything if everything's happening right on your head.
Yeah. And that's about all I got on these guys, because some of these creatures are really hard to find data on because
Yeah.
like we know nothing.
The fact that you have photos is incredible because, yeah, like you said, people are not spending a ton of time down there.
Yeah. And it's also, well, actually, so this next guy I talk about another reason why it's difficult. So the next photo is called the Crasata jellyfish, which carry a very fitting nickname called the psychedelic jellyfish.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. So they were
It looks like one of
discovered.
those. I don't know if you've ever been in like it was a Discovery Center, different like
Yes,
science
where you
Yes,
places
you
put
where
your
they have
fingers
a
on
ball
the
with
ball.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
your
It's
hair's
just missing. It's just missing the glass dome.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So if you, they were found at 3,700 meters in the trench in 2016, and these jellyfish produce bioluminescence, which give them like an appearance of two sets of tentacles, long and short. And this position that he's in right now, where all of his tentacles are spread out around him and look like a glowing floating ball, is presumed to be when they are about to ambush a predator. So they spread it out, or also to
could be
protect
you.
themselves
Be
so they look
careful.
bigger. Yeah. The next photo gives you a little bit of better idea about their dome there. They're basically see-through.
It's actually beautiful.
They
They're
are,
so
right?
cute. It actually
So-
matches your microphone when your microphone does
Oh,
the
yeah, the
yellow
glazing.
on top and then purple bottom.
The dome there, it has these red stripes that connect to what look like little light bulbs all going around it, and those are its gonads. And
What is with having your
gonads in your
sexy
head?
parts? Yeah.
I don't know, but you know how much I love jellyfish. So these guys I just thought were amazing. And
As long as they don't sting me, they're like fascinating to watch.
Yeah,
I just
I
don't want to
mean-
be like in the water with you.
even I got stung, which were
You got
Yeah.
stung
It's-
first.
I got stung.
Yeah.
No, I got stung second, remember?
Oh, that's
You
right.
got betrayed by
someone.
one of
So
your
someone.
favorite
I got
creatures.
betrayed by my favorite, and I had that fucking like it wrapped around my arm. I had the tentacle burn on
It
me.
got
like,
your
the
leg,
entire
Maybe
too,
trip.
it
didn't
got
saw
my leg.
your jellyfish tattoo and it got really excited.
I don't
Like,
think
It was like,
Did I have my
"Who's
jellyfish
that
tattoo there?
girl?"
I don't
Did you?
remember. I don't
This
think
was
I
in
oh wait,
did.
maybe not.
This was
Maybe
in
not because I
2015.
was with you when you got it, and that would've
Yeah,
been-
yeah.
yeah.
This was the trip that Lindsay decided not to go on because she was being financially responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
and
just
should have just
moved
come, but-
in, so and
Yeah.
plus, I don't know, I just moved, but
Yeah.
yeah, maybe you would had your tattoo at the time, it would have been deterred by you.
That's fair.
because,
Maybe it
like,
would have been
oh,
scared.
the jellyfish here
Um,
already. Have you been stung since?
No, I haven't. So good point.
Well,
And I've been
That-
in the Atlantic around jellyfish time, so
which is like all the time. I forget now.
God.
It's been
Yeah, the
definitely
jellyfish
summertime.
that we get in the Atlantic Ocean are not as pretty as these
No,
jellyfish.
we get the
No.
lion manes ones.
and yeah, they're a lot chunkier than
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So since these guys mostly disintegrate when they're brought up from the depths, they're difficult
Aw.
and they're difficult to catch on film. We don't know a lot about their mating and eating habits, but you know,
Let's just
they're
let them
jellyfish, so
live.
they probably just do what jellyfish do, which is like, I'm just a giant nervous system and I just go with the flow and eat whatever comes into my tentacles. So yeah.
Sounds like the life.
So the next photo is the Ossidax, also known as the
there's-
zombie
Oh,
worm.
looks like a pretty
or
dress
the bone worm.
almost.
Yeah.
Zombie worm. Love the name. There's a lot going on here too.
So they're
Looks
given
like a
their
mermaid
name.
dress.
I know they're beautiful. If you didn't know better, if you would actually think that they look more like a plant than an animal.
Yeah, like those anemone little
Yeah.
floaty guys.
So this is a zombie worm, and they have the ability to break down and burrow into bone and animal carcasses
Oh,
by secreting an acid. And actually, I went to the ROM yesterday, which for those who aren't from here is the Royal Ontario Museum, and we went to go and see the death exhibit, and they had this giant
sorry.
picture.
Can I just say I knew that exhibit was out since like Halloween, and I've thought about it not daily, but often. And yesterday I was like, babe, I really, really want to go. And he looks up, he's like, it's the last day
Yeah,
today.
that's why we went, because we were like, we have to go, and we kept putting it off,
That
and so we
sounds
went
so
yesterday.
cool.
Just tell
So
me it
go to the
really
next
sucked.
photo. Actually, this is a photo that I took at the museum, and this is
Oh,
what's called
neat.
a whale fall. So it was tall because it was the death exhibit. So they're talking about how in death there still is certain life, right? So like a whale dies and it falls, but it actually creates this like whole, basically,
Snacks.
well, and just like a whole bunch of life, like things that aren't found anywhere. So zombie worms aren't found anywhere else except for on bone carcasses. So they come here and they start to proliferate on these carcasses. And
Is
yeah,
that
they're
the
really cool. So
reddish?
all the red things
Chantel,
that
you
are
can
on this
expense
one.
this ticket now to our spreadsheet
Yes.
because this is for work related.
So
Oh, and I
you
found stuff
prob-
for next episodes too. It was I
you
love the
probably
rum.
don't know this, but are these guys like burrowed in the sand, like on the floor of the sea until something
I couldn't actually
lands near
found
them?
like why, or if they just move along like after they find, if they just like, bones done and then they move along. But I mean it takes a long time for the bone to be fully gone. So
Okay.
they got like
Yeah.
a long time to work on these bones.
I do find this kind of stuff fascinating. And I mean,
Yeah.
no
It's
one
something
no
I've
one likes to see a whale die because whales are just so gorgeous and they're already,
But it creates a whole
super endangered.
ecosystem. Like look
Yeah,
at
so
this.
Mhm.
it's kind of nice when something good happens. Like not that we know these creatures personally. It's
Yeah.
just like, hey, everyone got to eat well for a few weeks or months or however
Exactly.
long
Or
it takes.
years.
I think
Years?
morbidly, like I'm kind of like I think about like, shipwrecks that have happened and there's human bodies down there. Like how long did they last? Because
Last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what happened to those bodies? Like would there be any remnants and things like that?
No.
But
Unlikely.
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
unlikely
no.
now, but I don't know how long. Maybe in the beginning, but yeah, there probably would be, but
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know how long it takes
these
for
worms get to them, that's for sure.
yeah.
So these can be found at 3,000 meters below in the ocean, in the trench itself, and are about 3 inches in length. They do not have a stomach or a mouth, so they rely on a symbiotic relationship with other bacteria to help it digest the bones in order to absorb the nutrients that it's after. And that bottom part that you saw before that looked like a frilly dress is actually part of its root system, and it drills into the bone, and the floater-like plumes that are at the top act as gills to filter the oxygen out of the seawater.
So in this dark photo, you just can't see the red little wispy parts as much,
Yeah.
but you can see them much better in your photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
I see.
so what they do is that the males are microscopic and actually live inside of the females. And one study counted as many as 111 males living inside one female.
Sounds like university, eh? Sorry, it's so gross.
Basically, because you're so deep and reproduction can be so hard and they don't want to have to go to look for a mate, they're like, just live in me so that when I'm ready, we'll just be good. And so what they do is that when they're burrowing into the bone, they're creating this giant egg sac in the bone, and that's where they fertilize and they reproduce.
There's just a lot going on with these guys.
Yeah.
Everyone who's like down this deep, just wow.
Yeah. You just got to do what you got to do, basically.
And how they evolved to this is just wild. I find this
Yeah.
fascinating and terrifying. I'm so
All
glad
at
that
the
they're
same
not
time.
like, within a few feet of the shore. Very happy they're down deep.
Yeah. But the next guy is a little cutie patootie. He is
Oh!
called the Dumbo octopus. And he's found
So
here,
cute.
and he gets his name obviously from the Disney movie Dumbo because of his little ears. And they get
Another
to be
tragic childhood movie.
Another,
I mean,
yes.
it was older than us, but yeah.
They get to be about 7.5 to 12 inches, and they are part of the umbrella octopus family. So that means that it can expand its mantle into like an umbrella shape and can like kind of like float around in this giant umbrella. And like you can see that its tentacles are kind of like webbed together, kind of like the
They're so
telescopic.
tiny.
And they're just like these little babies, and then they use the little ears to propel themselves around too in the water. They're so cute.
Adorable.
Wait, you said that these actually get to be about a foot, like in
Up to a
diameter?
foot.
12
Yeah.
inches, yeah.
Wow, they look really tiny. So they're bigger than I imagined.
Yeah.
But I would still want to pet it,
Yeah, of
like
course.
gently on its little dome head.
Just a little bit.
It looks so soft and like smushy.
But you'll never get to because they live about 3,000 to 4,000 meters down. And
I'll be
they
dead. I'll be dead. And then all those worms will burrow into me and they'll have
There
all
you go.
their
You'll be a
friend
whole
zone
ecosystem.
boyfriends. Yeah. You know what? At least someone gets
It'll
to
never
enjoy.
be, but yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna write that into my will, like my will, like just shoot me down to the trench
Yeah.
If I ever
Okay.
find like a plushy
of this guy.
Dumbo fish, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'll be your closest that you get.
Yes,
Yeah.
so cute.
I will buy it for you.
So they mainly feed on snails and worms and other small prey that it can be found on the seafloor because it just like scavenges on the seafloor. And its mouth is not actually like a regular octopus with a beak. It has just more of like this hole that is adapted to eating its prey in one piece rather than grinding it down that like normal octopus do with its beak.
Does it break
Okay.
down the shell though somehow, like with its little enzymes and whatever, or
Well, I mean, yeah,
or I
it's not
guess
really
the
eating
snails
crustaceans
don't
though. It's
have.
snails, so it's just like a tiny little shell. It's obviously not
So
anything
when
with
you say
prey.
snail though, I think
Mhm.
about the little like shell they have.
Yeah, but
Maybe
it wouldn't be
down.
like a
It
huge,
just sucks
not
it
like
out,
a.
maybe.
I wouldn't think that it would be like a huge crustacean
Oh,
shell. It's so tiny, it's probably easy to break down. Yeah.
yeah, that's
They
fair.
would still have a
I'm thinking about the
stomach. They have
scale. Yeah.
acids. They have all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow. Okay.
And they have been found as low as 7,000 meters as well. So actually into the next zone that we're about to talk about. They thought at first that it was a mistake that they found one down there. Like maybe it just got caught as like people were going down and like the nets and stuff like that in the machines that were going down. But then they found it happened again. And so after they started finding it multiple times, they realized that they can actually go that low if they need to. And what's also kind of cool is because mating and things like that is so hard at these levels to find a mate, they will actually hold the eggs in their body at varying stages. So when they do come across a male, they can actually hold onto the sperm and the eggs and wait until conditions are good to lay them.
These are some smart creatures.
Right?
Yeah.
Just adaptation has to happen or else they would all be completely gone forever.
Yeah.
So the next zone is called the abyssopelagic zone or abyssal zone.
And the Greeks call it
Bottomless of the
abyss.
sea.
yeah.
So the abyss
I like
is
how you just know all
bottomless.
this because I'm going to ask every time. Although
Well,
now
yeah,
we're
I
done.
had to.
So,
So this one is about 4,000 to 6,000 meters. So that is 2,777.7 Shaquille O'Neals. And
that's
the
a lot of
temperature
shacks.
the temperature averages about 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. So like we said before, it's staying pretty constant as we're going down, just varying a degree or two. 83% of the ocean is in this zone by area, if you consider area.
Wow.
And 60% of the Earth's surface is found in this zone. So,
Wait. Surface area.
yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
Makes sense.
Because I was like, but the surface is above the water. So what? Okay. Gotcha.
Surface area. There's very little oxygen in this part of the ocean, and it can be about 8,500 pounds per square inch of pressure at the 6,000 meters here.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
How many elephants on my finger is this one?
Okay. So
Couple. Sounds like a few elephants are.
it's like 3/4 of an elephant. We're not
Okay.
quite at the bottom here yet.
Oh god.
So if you want to, you can go to the next photo, and we have a species of anglerfish that is found here.
Oh,
And
I was waiting
this
for an
one-
anglerfish.
I know.
to
I love
make
these
appearance.
guys.
This
Like,
one
love,
was
but
so
I'm
cool. I
terrified.
had to talk about him. So he is called the fanfin sea devil, and I said he, but that is definitely a she, and I will talk about why in a little bit.
Fan. Say it again.
Fanfin sea devil.
Fanfin sea devil. Sea devil. That's a cool
It's a
moniker.
good name.
So to be fair, these guys can actually be found between 300 to 500 meters below the surface, but I didn't have a lot of animals to talk about in the abyssal zone, so I decided to talk about them in the abyssal zone.
Fine, mind me. He looks
Fair.
really annoyed, but yet like flashy.
He's just like, they're so cool. She. It's definitely a she.
She.
So they are a bioluminescent fish that use their lights for luring prey. And obviously these things also look like complete nightmare fuel. This species of anglerfish in particular have hair-like spikes or sensors that they have coming out all over their body. They have dozens of them. They each have their own muscle system, and they use them for censoring and for balance, kind of like what a cat does with its whiskers.
I was gonna say it looks very
It
cat-like.
looks like lots of whiskers, but very beautiful whiskers.
And different lengths, like really long ones and shorter ones. So they're thought to both be used to attract prey by luring with the light, as well as deter predators by giving them a larger appearance. And they get to be about 7 inches in size and have fang-like rows of teeth. Their large mouth is expandable, and their stomach is expandable as well, and that gives them ability to eat prey that is much larger than themselves. And they tend to eat crustaceans and sometimes other lanternfish as well.
It looks like a really chocolatey Timbit rolled under your bed, and you found it like 4 years later. And then you had those plastic at LED. Remember that thing you'd get like in the 2000s?
The
That
string lights.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
The
it was
UFO
like a
lights.
Oh
yes, I
wait,
don't know how to
I know what you're
describe
talking.
it. It's
Yeah,
like a brush
yeah, it looked like a
of
brush, but it
plastic,
had all those lights, and it
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
it was spin.
That's
So all
exactly
those
what these
things
look like.
together is what
Someone tell
this
us what those
is.
are called.
Because I
Yeah, like
forget.
I mean, as soon as you said UFO light, I feel like they probably
Well,
were
because they used to have them
marketed.
in like a UFO, and then they would stick out. And I
And
remember
then it
my
would rotate and
grandfather had
change
one.
colors.
My
They're
grandfather
cool,
had
and
one because my
they're
granddad
nice
was
to
cool.
touch. Your
Yes.
granddad is cool.
And it also kind of reminds me of, do you guys remember It Came From Beneath the Sink, the R.L. Stein Goosebumps?
No, but
yeah.
The little sponge.
I can go there.
Kind of, or sponge potato
Yeah.
thingy. That's what it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of.
Oh, yeah. Also, a really, really old potato. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Next
So, like,
one.
not cute.
No, not
really.
cute. So the males of this species are more so parasitic, and this goes for all lanternfish.
All men.
Oh, sorry. Oh, fish. Got you. Okay.
Just
They
kidding,
are about.
man.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Please still listen to us. We're all in relationships with men.
We value all our listeners. Yeah, we're all happily in relationships.
I have a son, so
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
all men.
They're about 6 times smaller than a female and basically are just a sack of gonads. So what they do is they find a female and they attach themselves to the genital region and basically stay there until their entire body is absorbed and used up by the female, and then they fall off and die. And very few
What a
males have been
simp.
seen in, because they're just so small, first of all, and they have to actually catch them in the act of mating.
Oh,
Yeah.
again,
Well, at least they're
it's
useful.
a lot like
I
university,
guess.
right?
It's
Just a walking sack of gonads. Wow.
So the next zone is the hadopelagic zone. So this is 6,000 meters plus. So it's the deepest part of the ocean, and it includes the Mariana Trench. And the pressure here is immense, and the temperatures are about 2 degrees Celsius. And Hadel comes from the Greek word Hades, which is the god of the underworld. So that's where you get this one. It's just like the underworld.
Also, James Woods in Hercules.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Blue fire hair.
Yes. Oh, loved that one.
I love that movie. Yeah.
And finally, Meg, I get it, princess. Now, Megara is not my full name, but
We can
You should
change it.
change it to Megara.
I trust me, I want to. And she was like a smack talking, like from the Bronx or
Yeah,
something.
she
but
was
yet
cool.
ancient Greece. She was very, very cool.
Yeah.
But she also had unrealistic hair standards, as most Disney women do.
The bangs were out of
body
this world.
standards.
Like,
It defied gravity. I loved it, but like it
Yeah.
didn't make sense.
yeah, if
Anywho.
anyone's a god here, it's Meg with this hair.
Yeah.
There's some magic.
How'd she wake
going
up
on.
like that every day?
It's
That's
just
right.
not fair.
No.
So this zone is not found continuous throughout the ocean. So it's not a zone that you can find the zone above and how it can go like around the areas type thing. It's only found in trenches. The 6,000 plus.
Because it's that deep.
Yeah. So it had to kind of have something happen and occur to make it. It's not just like, oh, the world's just kind of like happening.
Like plates.
Yes,
subduction
exactly.
stuff.
And so they were formed over years, and the ocean only has 13 known troughs and 33 known trenches, which is where these zones will be found. In the Mariana Trench, we do not have data on many creatures because of this, like they have to be so specially adapted to live underwater in this immense pressure. But we do have some that I learned from a special on the Mariana Trench that was narrated by the one and only David Attenborough, the only
Love
person
him.
I want to listen to talk to me about ocean things. Oh, besides us, obviously.
Different.
Pay us to go and narrate things, Let's do it.
$100.
Let's do it.
You'll get a Subway sandwich or a shout out.
Or maybe a cookie.
Maybe we have to share. But
So you can go to the next photo here. We're going to talk about some that are found there. This is called a super giant amphipod. So there's
I
amphipods
hate
and
it.
super giant amphipods.
This is out of everything we've seen today. This is like the scariest.
So this is what they have found. 100% of them have found microplastics in. These are these guys that I was talking about earlier. They
Maybe that's
range.
good. Maybe
They are
it'll
plastic.
kill them all.
They do look plastic. So they're 3 to 10 centimeters long, and they are scavengers that eat dead and decaying matter. They're not always easy to come by, but research will show that they also survive on driftwood because they have special enzymes in their digestive system to break it down. So since they can't find a lot of food, the driftwood that comes down to the area, they have adapted to be able to break down driftwood, which apparently not a lot of animals or creatures in the world can break down wood. It's one of the hardest things to break down.
Termites love it.
They do. Their hard shell and sharp tails they use as defense when they are being eaten by fish, and they are covered in an oily fluid that helps them float. So if you actually see videos of them, they're not just at the bottom, they'll kind of like float along the water. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I don't really want to know more about these guys.
So
I'm good with just this.
These guys can go all the way to the bottom of the trench, but they can be found like anywhere between at 6,000 plus. Well, so you can stop looking at it. You can go to the next photo. This is
Thank God, I
called
hate this one.
a Mariana snailfish.
I love him.
Is
Cutie.
the deepest known fish. It can be found at 8,000 meters. Before they found these fish, they weren't sure that you could actually have fish this low, which I'll get into in a minute as to why.
What does it look like at the surface? Do they know that?
They don't look that much
blobfish?
different when they brought them up. It's not like the blobfish that like completely like flattens out.
Oh, well, poor blobfish. I thought it was just
my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
These guys kind of look like an axolotl mixed with a tadpole.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So they don't have
But you said
legs.
fish.
So it's like axolotl mixed with a tadpole. All those
his
little
fins kind of look like they would be swimming in the front.
It's also like a pretty
that is its
color.
fin.
I don't know.
No, but I mean like arms. I meant to say.
Oh,
like,
okay. Got you.
Because look how like they're shaped. Like those are exactly fins. Yes.
So it has no scales like a fish typically does, and has transparent skin. Those little things that you see around its mouth, those are sensory pores that help them sense vibrations and movement in the water. They have them all over their mouth. They have them at the sides of their face and kind of like around their jawline and behind their ears. They have over 100 sharp teeth that are in rows like a shark.
What?
And that helps
Cutie,
them.
I don't believe that.
That helps
He didn't do it, officer.
It wasn't him. He's too cute. Those actually help it to make sure that their prey doesn't get away, which is primarily amphipods when they're eating. They will eat other snailfish too if they really need to. And then in the back of their throat, they have a second set of jaws with more teeth.
That's scary.
So they're like,
wow.
You're not getting away from me. Even though the amphipods have those like little spiky tails, they're like, no, we can do this.
He looks so unassuming. He looks polite and jovial.
Yeah.
And he's actually like an insane murderer person.
Yeah,
I would trust this fish to babysit my children. That's how like
first mistake.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let Megan stop dying first.
I would trust this fish to watch my children. Oh my God.
It's
I mean, wouldn't you? Come on.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I would too. That's the funniest part, is that he just looks so trustworthy.
Do you know what's actually really
know.
cool when they bring them up? So you know those little dots that you can see around their mouths? They like almost completely disappear within like minutes of being at the surface.
Like sensory overload.
Yeah. So when the scientists were studying them, they're like, we have to measure this so quickly. Like it was just, yeah. When they bring things up, they're like,
because we have a dinner. Dinner is at 7 and we need to go. Okay, kids, this is your babysitter. We gotta go.
So let's get into a little bit of science here of how fish are able to survive at these depths. So all fish have a substance inside of them called trimethylamine oxide, or TMAO, and that is what actually gives fish a fishy odor. That's what you're smelling when you smell that.
Okay.
The Mariana snailfish has the highest known levels of TMAO. And so what happens is that the pressure at these depths are so great that it can actually destroy the structure of cells. It gives them this pressure, and the water is forced in by the increasing pressure, and they attach and cover the cells in the body and essentially squeeze the life out of these cells. So what happens is
That's
that,
terrifying.
yes. So what happens is that the TMAO comes out and it actually binds with the water, stopping it from destroying the proteins and takes them away. So the higher the TMO, the lower you can go.
That's a great hashtag. So write that
Next
down.
time Eric or like I are making fish, I'll be like, God damn, that's a TMO
it's
in
a-
the
Yeah.
air.
God, it smells like TMO in here.
Ugh.
You know,
Guys, stop. Try and make TMO happen. It's not going to happen.
So the bottom.
Copyright.
TM. The Challenger Deep, the absolute bottom. We are at 11,000 meters. We are at 1.2 Mount Everest. I'm going to give you
Thank you. Thank you.
We are at 50 jumbo jets being on you in pressure. Okay.
That's a lot.
This is
Oh,
near
sorry.
the-
On
So we
you.
went
Yes.
from like 3/4 of an elephant to 50 jumbo
but
jets?
that's just at the tip of your finger. This is saying 50
Okay.
jumbo jets being all over your
Could
body.
you just stick to elephants
Okay.
or jumbo jets
Okay, this
because
is
you're
gonna be
really
a lot of
confusing me?
elephants. Okay, I gotta figure
And
it
now I
out.
need both at all times. And how many Shaquille O'Neals are we at now?
How many shacks on a jumbo jet are on top of us
Yeah.
right
now? So you can find more amphipods here. And if you go to the next photo, it's not the best because I had to screen grab it from that thing that I was watching. Oh, and I also fucked up a little bit on the bottom. Don't worry, I'll fix that before it goes in here.
Can't really tell what I'm looking at.
So these are sea cucumbers. And
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, tell me.
I've held one of
even
those
is
before.
that?
they
I only know about that from Finding Nemo.
basically survive here by sucking up sand and filtering out what's edible to them and then basically pooping the rest back out. That's how they survive. And they
What a life.
believe that in this photo particular, they are all lined up in the same way. So they think that there might be some sort of current that they're following so that they don't have to work against a current.
That would make sense.
Or synchronized swimming.
Yeah, there
Or
you go.
synchronized swimming.
Yeah, they were
Maybe
just
they're
practicing.
practicing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Big show.
So how do these
Their hair and
creatures-
makeup look great, by the way.
Love.
I want to know. I need the number of their stylist.
Yeah.
These guys can live at the surface, right? Because
They can live all
been
over, but
to,
these are
like-
different. These are different ones.
So
there's
there's
actually
like a
some that are really
umbrella.
beautiful and how they like go through the water. They like look like they're ballerinas, like swimming through the water.
Synchronized swimmer.
Yes.
See? All
Um,
makes sense now.
See? Get it?
So-
Ocean podcast? Sorry.
More science is how these guys live at these depths. So TMAO only works up to a certain depth as far as we know. After that, the proteins start to stick together again, causing these protein chains that do not function properly. So we have to use something called, which I'm going to butcher, inositol.
Nailed it.
Inositol. I know,
Okay.
thank you. Just
To be
go
honest,
listen to
I
David
don't even know if
Attenborough. He
that's
says
right
it
or not,
better.
so we'll say yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Could be
Symptoms may
wrong, but-
include diarrhea, upset stomach, eyesight loss,
Yes,
crushing
I saw that
pressure, many
Actually,
Shaquille
this
O'Neals
will
on top of
reverse
you.
the crushing pressure. So what this does, it's a flat molecule that's is a structure and it wedges itself between the proteins so that it counter affects the water pressure that's happening. And that's how these guys are able to not basically be crushed under pressure. It is believed that most of these creatures that are found down here actually come from the Antarctic waters because they have the same cold gene that is found there. And there is an underwater current that goes from the Antarctic along the bottom of the water all the way into the Mariana Trench.
What?
And animals could have been
Wow.
carried from there and adapted along the way.
So again, it's like the highway in Finding Nemo, right? But it's on the bottom of the ocean, so it's scarier.
Yeah.
And it's freezing, and you can't see anything, but you probably don't have eyes anyway, so it's fine.
Exactly.
And you travel from Antarctica to this spot.
Just
for billions of
adapting along
years.
the way. Just being like, okay,
Well, what
give
are
me
you gonna
some more
do?
TMAO. Give me some more Oh, I'm maxed at TMAO. Okay, give me some
Well,
of that inositol stuff.
Guess I'm just gonna eat some
Yeah.
sand now.
Yeah, there you
Forever.
go. Yeah.
Let me put my eyes by my gonads, whatever works.
Yeah.
I like my eyes on top of my head. Also, my head is see-through.
So that's the Mariana Trench.
Holy
And
crap.
there
Wow.
is a ton that I obviously did not cover for time, like lots more crustaceans and all kinds of things. But like I said, I hope that we will eventually do more just based off of zones that I can do like anywhere in the world. Because everything that I found was fascinating, and even getting it down to just these few was difficult.
You did a great
Yeah.
job, I think, covering like some really interesting looking creatures, and there was just enough facts to know a little bit about them, but I know like the facts they're not even founded yet. So
Yeah.
I love that you did it by zone too. So we
yeah.
could for
Yeah.
each
I
Well,
also
'cause
like that you remembered the
zone.
Greek words. That was
I had to.
interesting.
I knew
Yeah.
that would be a question. So I knew that
So
would be on the
freaking cool.
test.
Yeah. Well, once you start giving the Greek words, you had to continue, and you
And
did.
again,
So
and the Greeks just like, oh, this is called the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
That's just what we call it
Oh yeah,
here.
it's just bottom. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's abyss. What was it? It was like in the 1870s or something like that. They thought that the deepest that you could go was 1,000 meters. Like they didn't even weren't even
They
able
didn't
to
know nothing.
have a concept that you could go any further than that. So
I
we've
feel
learned
like
a
we
lot
still
over the
hardly
years.
have a concept of like, I mean, well, we've said this before. I think actually in our trailer that we know more about space than the ocean.
Yeah, I keep seeing these things come up on TikTok, and it was like NASA used to explore the ocean until 1958, and then they decided to go to space. And they're like, "So what did they find?" That they're like, "We have to leave Earth."
We're probably like, you know what? This is too
yeah, we're done
hard.
here.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
No,
this
they're
was
where
probably
too
else
like,
can we
crazy.
live?
this is so
Yeah.
much work. It's easier to go share ourselves into space, guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's easier. Let's just do that.
Guys, we did the math. We did the science. Let's
The
just go to
math ain't
space.
mathing. It's
Yeah.
easier to go
Yeah.
up where there's no oxygen, although there's no oxygen at the
Mhm.
bottom of the ocean too. So
Yeah. So, well, there is.
But
It's
also they
just
were
very
like
little.
didn't want to not be
no.
first to
First,
go to
Fair.
space.
They're like,
And,
"Oh,
it
we
would be
heard Russia
terrible.
wanted to go to space, so we gotta
No, we
figure
want to
this
go
out."
first.
Yeah.
So
Chantel, after doing this, and you said that you even had more creatures that you were coming across, but of the ones you told us, what is your favorite and why? You have to pick one. You can't pick more than one. What's your favorite?
Oh, well, the jellyfish then.
The
which
I
one?
love jellyfish.
Which one?
The cressata, the
Yeah, there's
psychedelic jellyfish. No, I didn't. I
Yeah.
only covered one jellyfish. The rest were octopus.
The one with the yellow,
The glowing
and red,
gonads.
purple.
glowing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are those things? The glowing gonads. That sounds like a really nice like bed and breakfast you'd see.
Mhm.
Welcome to the glowing gonads,
Good
where the gonads
welcome.
are always glowing.
Yeah, that was
That's what I look for in a good B&B.
definitely
That's
my
right.
favorite because they're beautiful. There were so many other jellyfish. There are actually a
Mhm.
lot of species of comb jellyfishes that are down there. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but they basically just look
No.
like this giant ball of like lights going down. And
So definitely do a jellyfish episode because I want
yes,
to
I
learn
need to
more.
do a jellyfish episode of like just jellyfish at different places because they're so cool and like
I'm
you know that I
excited.
love jellyfish. So
Yes. Lindsay, what is your favorite out of all of these?
Well, for me, it's the Dumbo jellyfish. Shame of price. I'm
Octopus.
telling yours, Meg. I'm sorry.
Octopus.
He's so no. He's just so cute.
He is. He's adorable.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that maybe because this photo has a flash on it, maybe it doesn't have those colorings, but the fact that it's mostly white with like pinkish red tips just looks so cute.
He's adorable. So nobody likes the goblin shark the best? Poor guy.
Oh my god. I think I like the totally tubular fish with the marbles
Barrel
on his
eye.
head that look up and
Yeah,
it's
that fish
clear
was pretty
head.
cool too.
I mean, I also like the Mariana fish just because they're just so cool. The fact that the Mariana snailfish, the fact that they can live so low, and like, I've
Lindsay's
always
willing
loved
to leave it and
axolotls.
watch the kids.
that-
So
What's
she's
the little
gonna
octopus? Yeah, exactly.
There's
totally trustworthy.
There's the Dumbo octopus, and then there is the
I should have picked him
telescope.
because then free childcare.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the dumb and then what's the other guy that has a little telescopic telescope.
telescope. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah, that
little
was
the little octopus that was also very cute. Remember the little tiny guy? He's
Yes, that
wrapped,
is the
like, in
Dumbo, the
blue.
Dumbo
Yeah.
octopus.
no the telescope one.
Oh, I only covered two octopus, Dumbo and the telescope.
Okay, then the telescope one, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was another one that wasn't the Dumbo one, and it was cute.
Yes, because he has just his two little light bright eyes stuck in his head,
Yeah.
and then he's mostly
Megan,
clear.
I've already found some plushy Dumbo
Really?
octopus. So
They're so cute.
little
Yeah,
crochet ones.
Chantel,
I could make
great.
you one.
Great case. That was so interesting.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yes.
Yes.
And I really, really like too how, I mean, I guess there's no other better way to tell it, but you went from, surface down, like you explained how light works, and then here are the levels, and then just kind of, that was
And
just
then
very
it's
nice.
perpetual darkness from here on out, but it's
Yeah.
cool that things can
Crushing
survive there.
pressure.
Yes, crushing
Mm.
pressure.
So
And
you
thank you
can
for
survive there
comparing
too.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for using real
Shaquille
world
O'Neal.
measuring thing. Yeah.
I can't believe that he's 7'1". I was like, who's really tall? It's like Shaquille O'Neal. I was like, 7'1". Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Like,
That's tall.
A lot of
yeah.
basketball players are that tall.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
why you have a tall friend. It's like, basketball. Damon gets asked it all the
Well,
time. And
if
he's
you
like,
I get
are
asked
yes.
that all the
over,
time.
Yeah.
yeah, if you play basketball,
Yeah. I had
if you,
somebody. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, I forget the exact height, but if you're like over, like, I don't know, 6'9" or 10, like the chances of you playing basketball are actually a lot higher.
Likely.
So yeah,
It makes
so
sense.
it's not like
Yeah.
completely inaccurate.
So you're almost there, Chantel.
Yeah.
Just a few
Yeah.
more inches until you're 6'9" or
I
whatever.
was at work the other
Chantel's
day.
6'8", so
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe this year.
No, I was at work the other day, and there's another girl there that's like 1 inch taller than me. And I had this patient come back. He was coming back for a second vaccination, and he was like, "Oh, so do you and the other girl, or you guys play on the same basketball team?" Or
oh my
funny,
God.
never get
You're
that
tall, but you
ever.
aren't like crazy tall.
I mean, I'm taller than the average female here, but I am
That's
I thought
average
you were going to
height
say
for.
average
Definitely.
bear.
I'm average. I'm
It's when you
average
wear your
male height
heels.
for Canada. I
Yeah.
am average female height for Danish females.
So that's on brand for you.
Yeah. But it's funny
Mhm.
because like I get most of my height from my mom's side of the family, actually, not my dad's. So
Yeah.
I
That
don't
is
know.
weird.
Yeah.
But maybe the two genes together formed a super gene, and then you came along, and
yeah.
there we are.
Go. Yeah. Perfect. Love
Okay.
it.
Well, this is great. I'm so glad that I don't live in any of these zones, and I'm just going to stick to like at the most like chest, like shoulder blade height in the water, and
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
just
Megan's still not
stay
going in the water.
above the
just
water or the sunlight
shoulders.
zone.
Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
sun
You
sun
don't
zone
want to
for
beat
sure.
what's his face with his depth record? Come up and be like, yeah, it took me 15 hours to come up
You know
because I went
what?
even
Good for
deeper.
him. I'll make him a great lunch while he like decompresses and stuff, and I'll be like, "Wow, man, that's cool." Anyway,
Yeah. There you go.
not into it.
Yeah.
Oh
Imagine
man.
how wrinkly he was when he came back up.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
fair.
pruny.
Yeah. His finger. Do you know
And
why that
also,
happens underwater?
whoa, bonus content.
Bonus
What? How?
content.
Is it like osmosis something?
Yeah.
No, so the
tell
reason
us.
why it happens is because you can't grip things underwater as well. So we have like adapted to make it so that we can be more grippy underwater. That's why our fingers get all pruny.
But I still have a hard time
Okay.
grabbing the soap. So
Well, because you haven't gotten pruny enough.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
gotta
soap,
adapt
which is
more.
slippery.
okay, so science experiments, everyone, right now. See if you can grip different tools like wrenches.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's part of the
interesting.
reason why it happens.
Well, I
Anyway.
loved / hated that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, no
Thank you,
problem.
Chantel.
All good. We will get more into it next week, seeing how people got down there. I'm very excited for Lindsay's case. But yeah, until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
I'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm so sorry. Bye.
Thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a minute to review the Coast Files podcast on Apple Podcasts or YouTube. Leaving us a comment or like really helps. You can email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com, follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.